Anatomy of a CC license. Derek Moore's assignment for the Creative Commons certificate course. In this presentation, we will look at 9 examples of open educators and the Creative Commons licenses they have chosen to attach to their work. We will unpack how these licenses have 4 key elements, and then we will look at licenses themselves, Creative Commons licenses, and introduce you to the 3 layers. These licenses can be placed on a continuum of openness, from completely open to slightly open, and then we will conclude with one simple example. Take a look at these 9 open educators. Do you recognize any of them? Some of their faces are from my country, South Africa. Some are from the UK, and some are from Canada or the United States. Creative Commons has made it simple for open educators to share their work with others under a set of conditions that they are comfortable with. So instead of having to approach, and this is in clockwise order, Alec Koros, Alan Levine, Paul Prinsloo, Laura Koyanovich, Cheryl Hodgkinson-Williams, George Siemens, Jim Groom, Stephen Downs, or Granier Canole, and ask each of them for permission to use, share, or adapt their creative work, you can simply look at the CC license they chose. This CC license then allows them to indicate upfront what they will and won't allow others to do with their work. So whether you are a thought leader like George Siemens or an edupunk like Jim Groom, or somewhere in between, if you are going to share your work openly, then you might want to think a bit about how you want your work to be shared and what you consider appropriate recognition for your work to be. The choices you will make will grant the public, including students and colleagues, the right to retain, reuse, revise, remix, and redistribute educational content without charge. These 6 Creative Commons licenses are built upon copyright. They do not replace copyright law, and they only apply when the work is within the scope of copyright law. So if copyright is the foundation, then Creative Commons licenses are built on top of it. They offer more flexibility than the all rights reserved associated with traditional copyright, but their approach is to modify all rights reserved to some rights reserved. Probably the best known example of an open work is a MOOC, and the 2 inventors of MOOC, George Siemens and Stephen Downs, originally wanted to create a course that allowed students from outside a university to enroll, one kind of openness, and then the materials that were in the course to be able to be remixed and reused. And so what they did is they made an open course and attached a CC BY license to it. If, however, you visit the blog of Stephen Downs, you will see at the bottom it has quite a different license to the MOOCs that he created. It is a CC BY NC-SA. So you need to attribute it by NC. It may not be used for commercial purposes, and SA, shared alike. The license conditions that you use when you republish this piece of work from his blog have to be exactly the same. By ND, SA, and NC. Attribution, no derivative works, share alike, and non-commercial licenses. Each of these licenses offer a certain set of conditions for use, and these 4 elements are combined together into the 6 license types. The licenses themselves consist of 3 elements. The top element is the element that is read by computers. This is machine-readable metadata that contains a summary of the key freedoms that have been granted and the obligations imposed, and it is written in a format that applications, search engines, and other technology can understand. The next layer is the commons deeds, and this is the most visible and well-known layer of the licenses. These are web pages that lay out the key license terms in human-readable format. And the last layer is the legal code. This is the base layer. This is the lawyer-readable terms and content that are legally enforceable in court. Now, I'm not sure if you visited Alan Levine's pictures on Flickr, but you'll notice that he has a sign associated with his work that we haven't talked about. And this is CC0, or public domain. And Alan, or commonly known as Cogdog, has donated his photographs to the public domain. It is important to understand that Creative Commons Tools does not want to impede access to materials that are already open. So works in the public domain do not need a set of additional permissions to be added by Creative Commons because that work is already open. By now you will have recognized that there are certain works that are far more open and others that are least open. And Creative Commons licenses offers its users choices that enable degrees of openness. I'm an open educator, and I would like other people to use this picture of Mr. Blobby, but I would like them to use it in the same way that I licensed it, and so I would choose a particular license. This is then what my license would look like. It would be Blobby by Web Learning, licensed under CC by SA. Or if I wanted to express it in a full way, I could say Blobby by Web Learning is licensed under Creative Commons, attribution, share alike. Or I could use the 2 icons, the man and the reverse C.